Intro. Some ancient languages have been lost for centuries. Ancient scrolls that were buried in volcanic ash during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius are now being deciphered 2,000 years later, thanks in part to artificial intelligence. Their secrets were buried with them. But what if technology could bring these forgotten voices back to life? In 79 AD, this ancient Roman city was also buried in volcanic ash by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. What was found here, with the help of artificial intelligence, could change the way we understand history. And what if what they had to say was terrifying? Interestingly, the shaft of the arrow that entered his shoulder wasn't found anywhere in the area. The Scrolls of Herculaneum. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD buried the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum, preserving them in a time capsule of ash. The Villa of the Papyri, home to a library containing thousands of carbonized scrolls, was among the treasures unearthed in Herculaneum. These scrolls, though preserved by the ash, were incredibly fragile and impossible to unroll without turning to dust. Fast forward to 2023, where scientists have a new weapon in their arsenal: artificial intelligence. Using clever algorithms and a super powerful X-ray machine, the Diamond Light Source 2, they have digitally unwrapped these scrolls, finally revealing the words hidden within. This incredible machine, the size of Wembley Stadium, generates X-rays 10 billion times brighter than the sun, allowing them to see through the charred papyrus and make out faint traces of ink. One of the first researchers to have success was a young man named Brent Seals. He managed to decipher a single word: purple. The excitement was palpable, as this marked the first time in 2,000 years that anyone had read text from these scrolls. So far, only a small number of the scrolls have been decoded, but the potential is huge. Experts think these scrolls might have belonged to an important Roman figure, maybe even Julius Caesar's father-in-law. They could provide us with a whole new understanding of how ancient Romans thought and lived. So far, the decoded parts discuss philosophical ideas of pleasure, including the role of music. They also ask big questions about happiness and whether scarcity makes us want something more. The Indus Valley Script. The Indus Valley Civilization, one of the world's oldest urban societies, still has its script largely undeciphered. Scholars have struggled to make sense of it for decades, but now computers are lending a hand. Using powerful algorithms and statistical analysis, computers can analyze tons of data and find patterns that humans might miss. They've discovered that the Indus script isn't just a bunch of random symbols. It has a structure and a system with rules for combining symbols. So what does all this mean? Well, it looks like the Indus script might have been a kind of proto-writing. Think of it as a stepping stone towards full-fledged writing, maybe used for keeping track of things or recording rituals. It's like an ancient spreadsheet and prayer book combined. Even more exciting, the analysis hints that the script might represent both sounds and ideas, meaning it could be far more complex than we initially thought. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Hidden in caves near the Dead Sea, the Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of ancient texts that give us a peek into a world long gone. One of these texts, the War Scroll, tells the story of an apocalyptic battle between good and evil, a fight that would decide the fate of the world. These scrolls, some over 2,000 years old, were found by accident in 1947 by a shepherd. They were in great condition thanks to the dry desert air, but their ancient languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, made them hard to understand. For many years, experts worked hard to translate them, but much of it remained a mystery. Modern technology, with its fancy computer programs and high-tech imaging, is now helping us read parts of the scroll that were once unreadable. The War Scroll, in particular, paints a graphic picture of this final battle. It describes a huge clash between the Sons of Light and the Sons of Darkness, even laying out the battle plans, detailing the formations of the armies, the types of weapons they wielded, and even the specific ages of the warriors involved. But beyond the action, it stresses the importance of righteousness, discipline, and unwavering faith even in the face of overwhelming darkness. The Sons of Light are portrayed as heroes fighting not just for survival, but for justice and a divinely ordered world. Mayan glyphs. The Maya, with their impressive pyramids and complex calendar, also had a sophisticated writing system, the Mayan glyphs. These intricate symbols, carved into stone or painted on pottery, recorded their history, beliefs, and even their astronomical observations. For centuries, we couldn't understand them, but modern computers have helped us break it down. We now have huge databases of Mayan inscriptions, and computers can easily find patterns and relationships within them, helping us figure out the meaning of individual glyphs and how they fit together. There are also special software tools that let researchers compare glyphs across different texts, making it easier to spot patterns and figure out what they mean. And don't forget about artificial intelligence. AI programs are being trained on already deciphered glyphs, so they can start to predict the meaning of new ones. This is speeding up the whole process of decoding the Maya writing system. The Maya aren't the only ancient civilization whose secrets are being unlocked by modern tech. Let's explore some other amazing discoveries made possible by the power of computers and science. Pompeii graffiti. The city of Pompeii, frozen in time by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, continues to reveal its secrets even today. Beyond the stunning buildings and artifacts, the walls of Pompeii are covered in scribbles, drawings, and messages left by its ancient inhabitants. For centuries, much of this graffiti was hidden or too hard to read, but thanks to modern technology, these voices from the past are finally being heard. One of the most powerful tools in this endeavor is digital imaging and enhancement. High-resolution photography, combined with advanced software, allows archaeologists to capture and enhance even the faintest inscriptions on Pompeii's walls. This helps them decipher graffiti that was once invisible to the naked eye, revealing hidden messages, drawings, and even jokes, giving us a glimpse into the everyday lives of Pompeians. We also have 3D scanning and modeling to thank. By creating digital copies of Pompeii's buildings and streets, researchers can place the graffiti in context. And get this, artificial intelligence is now being used to automatically find and translate the graffiti. AI can sift through vast amounts of images and texts, recognizing patterns and extracting valuable information. This significantly speeds up the process of documentation and analysis. The Austrian Roman Gladiator School. Hidden beneath the fields of Austria, archaeologists have stumbled upon a real-life gladiator school from the Roman Empire. This incredible find gives us a unique look into the lives of these legendary fighters, who lived and trained far from the famous Colosseum in Rome. Using high-tech tools like ground-penetrating radar, GPR, scientists were able to map out the school without digging everything up. The GPR revealed practice areas where gladiators honed their skills, small sleeping cells where they rested, and even a bathhouse for relaxation after a hard day of training. Can you imagine the stories those walls could tell? This discovery is a big deal because it's the first gladiator school ever found outside of Italy. It shows that gladiator fights were popular all over the Roman Empire, not just in the major cities. Tutankhamun's dagger. In the treasure-filled tomb of King Tutankhamun, there's a special dagger with a surprising secret. Its blade is made of iron that came from a meteorite. For decades, scientists were puzzled by the dagger's unique composition. While ancient Egyptians were skilled metalworkers, iron was a super rare and precious metal during King Tut's reign. So how did they make such a fancy dagger with a perfect iron blade and beautiful gold decorations? The answer came from modern technology. In 2016, researchers used a technique called X-ray fluorescence spectrometry to analyze the blade's composition without damaging it. They found high levels of nickel and cobalt, a combination rarely found in iron on Earth, which meant the iron must have come from space. Further tests confirmed it. The patterns in the iron matched those found in meteorites, pieces of space rock that fall to Earth. This discovery is not just cool science, it also adds to the mystery of King Tut. The dagger, made from material that literally fell from the sky, shows how much the ancient Egyptians respected the cosmos and their ability to use special materials. It also reminds us that even thousands of years ago, people were capable of creating amazing things. Roman roads. Imagine driving down a modern highway not knowing that an old Roman road is hiding underneath. Across the UK, these ancient roads, built by the powerful Roman Empire, have been found under our modern streets and buildings, showing us just how skilled and ambitious the Romans were. We find these hidden roads by using old maps and travel journals, taking pictures from the air, and using a cool technology called LiDAR. LiDAR is like a super strong laser that scans the ground and makes detailed 3D maps. It can see through trees and plants and even spot small changes in the ground, making it great for finding buried things like those old Roman roads. Thanks to LiDAR, we're finding lots of lost Roman roads all over the UK. For example, in Lancashire, they found a 10-mile-long road that linked two important Roman towns. This helps us understand how people got around and traded back then. Viking longships. Picture this: sleek wooden vessels decorated with fearsome dragon heads cutting through the waves. These are the legendary Viking longships, the heart of Viking society, enabling them to travel far and wide to explore, trade, and even raid. After centuries buried beneath Norwegian soil, these incredible ships have become hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Ground-penetrating radar, or GPR, has become the go-to tool for archaeologists searching for these buried Viking ships. GPR sends radar pulses into the ground, which bounce back when they hit something solid, like the outline of a buried ship. By analyzing these signals, scientists can create a picture of what's hidden beneath the surface without even having to dig. In recent years, GPR has led to some amazing discoveries. In 2018, archaeologists found a 20-meter-long Viking ship buried in a field in southeastern Norway, and just last year, another ship was discovered using GPR in the same region. These finds are giving us a whole new understanding of how Vikings built their ships and how skilled they were at sailing. GPR is also helping us learn more about the people who sailed these ships. By scanning the areas around the ships, researchers can find traces of settlements, burial mounds, and other things that tell us about the lives of the Vikings. Otzi the Iceman. High in the Alps, hikers stumbled upon a frozen body in 1991. Not a recent hiker, but a man who lived over 5,000 years ago. This was Otzi the Iceman, a remarkably well-preserved mummy from the Copper Age. Otzi's discovery was like finding a time capsule. He was frozen with his clothes, tools, and even his last meal still with him. Modern technology has been the key to unlocking the secrets of Otzi's life and death. Scientists have used X-rays and CT scans to look inside Otzi's body without causing any damage. They found an arrowhead lodged in his shoulder, hinting at a violent end. They also discovered tattoos which might have been part of some ancient medical practice. DNA analysis revealed even more secrets. We know Otzi had brown eyes, couldn't digest dairy, and was even prone to heart disease. His clothes and tools showed us how people lived back then, and the contents of his stomach revealed his final meal. Today, Otzi resides in a special museum in Italy, where scientists continue to study him using the latest technology. They've even recreated his face and voice. Otzi's story is a captivating reminder of our shared human history and how technology can connect us with people from thousands of years ago. Neanderthal voices. We used to think Neanderthals were just grunting cavemen, but science is changing that picture. Researchers are now using new tech to rebuild the vocal tracts of these ancient humans so we can get an idea of how they might have sounded. Using fossilized remains, scientists create 3D models of Neanderthal skulls and throats. They've looked closely at the hyoid bone, a tiny bone in the throat that helps with speech and the vocal cords. Once they have the model, they can simulate how air would have moved through their throats to make sounds. This helps them guess what kinds of sounds Neanderthals could make, like different vowels and consonants. Although we can't actually hear a Neanderthal voice yet, these simulations suggest they probably sounded a bit higher-pitched and more nasal than us. They might have had a wider range of vowel sounds, too, and some scientists even think they could have made complex speech patterns. This is a big deal because it challenges the old idea that Neanderthals were primitive and not very smart. If they could make complex sounds, it means they had better communication skills than we thought, maybe even language. This changes how we understand human evolution and how language developed. The Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army is more than just a beautiful display of ancient artistry. It's also a fascinating mystery waiting to be solved. We marvel at the life-sized clay warriors guarding the tomb of China's first emperor, but have you ever wondered who actually built these incredible figures? With cutting-edge science, we're starting to get answers. Scientists have been using DNA analysis to study the bones of people buried near the mausoleum. These folks are believed to be the workers who built this massive complex, and what they've found is a pretty diverse group. The workers came from all over East Asia, showing that the project brought together people from different parts of the Qin Empire. At first, scientists looked at mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down from mothers to their children. This gave them a basic idea of where the workers came from, but now they're looking at nuclear DNA, which can reveal a lot more about ancestry and family connections. Imagine being able to trace the family trees of the people who built this wonder over 2,000 years ago. It's like putting faces and stories to the thousands of hands that crafted each warrior, each horse, each chariot. This genetic information, along with what archaeologists find during digs, helps us paint a clearer picture of the people behind the terracotta army. It shows us a complex society with a diverse workforce all contributing to the first emperor's grand vision. Dwarka, India's sunken city. In Hindu mythology, the ancient city of Dwarka was the home of Lord Krishna. Legend has it that it was swallowed by the sea centuries ago. For a long time, this was just a story, but now modern technology has revealed evidence that Dwarka might have actually existed beneath the waves. Underwater archaeologists, equipped with cool tools like side-scan sonar and underwater robots, have been exploring the seabed off the coast of present-day Dwarka in Gujarat, India. And guess what? They found some pretty impressive stuff down there. Large stone structures, including streets, huge walls, and even what looks like the remains of a harbor. They've also found artifacts like pottery, jewelry, and old anchors, all pointing towards a once thriving city. Scientists have used carbon dating to figure out how old these artifacts are, and it seems they could date back to the time when Dwarka was supposed to have existed. Pompeii's ancient fast food joints. Pompeii, buried under volcanic ash nearly 2,000 years ago, is like a window into the past, showing us how ancient Romans lived their daily lives. And guess what? They even had fast food joints. These places, called thermopolia, were where everyday folks could grab a quick bite or a drink on the go. While we've known about these thermopolia for a while, modern technology is now letting us uncover their secrets and learn more about the food and culture of ancient Pompeii. High-tech cameras and 3D scanning allow archaeologists to see every little detail of these places, even the faded paintings on the walls. These paintings often showed the foods they served, giving us clues about what Pompeians liked to eat. With 3D modeling, it's like we can walk right into these ancient fast food spots. We can see the counters where food was displayed, the big jars for storing ingredients, and even the graffiti left by customers and workers. Scientists have also used chemical analysis to look at what's left in the cooking pots and jars. This helps them figure out what kinds of food and drinks were prepared and enjoyed. Recent digs have turned up even more cool stuff. In 2020, archaeologists found a really well-preserved thermopolium, complete with beautiful paintings, leftover food, and even the bones of a dog that had been tied up near the counter. Thanks to all this new technology, we're learning so much about Pompeii's fast food scene. It's giving us a taste of the flavors and social life that once filled the streets of this incredible city. The Giza Pyramids. Heat anomalies. While we've explored chambers and passageways of the Great Pyramids of Giza, there's a growing suspicion that there's more hidden beneath their massive limestone blocks. Enter thermal scanning, a high-tech tool that's helping researchers detect some seriously intriguing heat anomalies within the pyramids. The idea is pretty simple. Different materials absorb and release heat at different rates. Solid stone, for example, warms up and cools down more slowly than an empty space or a passageway. So, by looking for spots that heat up or cool down quicker than their surroundings, scientists can find potential hidden spaces or structures inside the pyramids. Back in 2015, a team called the Scan Pyramids Project used this technique and found some interesting anomalies in the Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu. One spot on the eastern side showed a big temperature difference compared to the blocks around it. What could these anomalies be? Scientists continued to investigate using other technologies like muon tomography, which is like having X-ray vision for really thick objects, to get a better look without having to drill or dig. In 2023, Researchers finally announced that they had discovered a 30-meter-long corridor hidden right behind the pyramid's main entrance. This groundbreaking find was made possible by combining the thermal imaging data with the muon tomography scans, allowing scientists to pinpoint the corridor's exact location and dimensions. The Nebra star disk. The Nebra sky disk, a 3,600-year-old bronze disk found in Germany, might be one of the oldest maps of the night sky ever discovered. It is decorated with gold symbols, likely depicting the sun, moon, stars, perhaps even the Pleiades star cluster and even the horizon. High-tech cameras capture super-clear images, revealing every tiny detail of these gold symbols. With 3D scanning and modeling, scientists can create digital copies of the disk, allowing them to examine it from any angle to understand the arrangement of symbols and if they correspond to real stars and constellations. Special software allows researchers to simulate the night sky from the Bronze Age, making it easier to interpret the symbols. By studying the materials, scientists are also learning about the disk's origin and manufacturing. The Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines are giant geoglyphs etched into the Peruvian desert. For years, people proposed wild theories about their purpose, from alien landing strips to messages to the gods. However, new research and modern technology offer a different perspective. By closely examining the artifacts found near the lines, scientists now believe they may have been used in sacrifices to ask for blessings, like good harvests. This theory reveals the religious significance of the Nazca Lines to the Nazca people. High-tech cameras, drones, and 3D modeling give archaeologists a better understanding of these massive drawings and the surrounding areas. The Sutton Hoo Ship Burial. In 1939, in Sutton Hoo, England, archaeologists discovered the burial mound of an Anglo-Saxon king. Within the mound was a large ship filled with treasures, such as gold jewelry, weapons, and a helmet. Although the ship itself had rotted away, it left a ghostly imprint in the soil. Modern technology, like ground-penetrating radar, GPR, allowed scientists to see beneath the soil and map the ship's entire shape. With this data, they created 3D models that showed the ship's size and construction. The helmet, reconstructed from rusted fragments, is a masterpiece of Anglo-Saxon craftsmanship, adorned with intricate designs of warriors and mythical creatures. This discovery provides valuable insights into early English royalty and culture. The Oxus Treasure. The Oxus Treasure is a collection of 180 gold and silver artifacts and coins from the ancient Scythians, a nomadic people of Central Asia known for their horsemanship, warrior skills, and love for elaborate gold jewelry. The treasure, likely discovered near the Oxus River, now the Amu Darya, in the late 1800s, provides a glimpse into their world. Although some pieces were melted down for their metal, what remains includes tiny chariots, figurines, jewelry, and ceremonial items that showcase their exceptional metalworking skills. Scientists are using a scanning electron microscope, SEM, to study these objects, revealing tiny details on the artifacts, including tool marks that help researchers understand the Scythians' techniques. The Siberian Unicorn. The Siberian unicorn, a creature that sounds like it belongs in fantasy, was actually a real animal that roamed Earth thousands of years ago. Unlike the graceful, horse-like creature of legend, this unicorn was a type of rhinoceros called Elasmotherium sibericum. Scientists previously thought it went extinct hundreds of thousands of years ago, but a well-preserved skull found in Kazakhstan in 2016 was dated to just 29,000 years ago, indicating that it coexisted with early humans. Scientists used radiocarbon dating, which measures carbon decay to estimate age, to determine the skull's age. The Siberian unicorn was about the size of a mammoth and likely had a large single horn. Though it wasn't magical, it was still a remarkable creature. The Ice Mummy of the Andes. High in the Andes, a young Inca girl was frozen in time centuries ago. Thanks to modern technology, scientists have learned much about her without disturbing her remains. Using CT scans, they observed her organs and her last meal. DNA analysis provided insights into her ancestry and health. Her clothing and the items found with her shed light on Inca culture and beliefs regarding the afterlife. Her attire suggests she was selected for a sacrificial ritual called capacocha, a practice to please the gods and ensure the empire's welfare. The Easter Island statues. The Moai statues on Easter Island, known for their large heads, were discovered to have bodies buried underground. Using ground-penetrating radar and traditional digging, archaeologists found that the statues' buried bodies include intricate carvings protected from the elements over centuries. The reasons for their burial remain unclear, but it may be due to natural shifts in the earth or intentional burial for ritual purposes. This revelation shows that these statues are full-body figures with unique stories, and with modern technology, we're beginning to uncover their secrets. The Giza Pyramid's heat anomalies. Though many chambers and passageways within the Great Pyramids of Giza have been explored, new technology reveals intriguing hidden structures. Thermal scanning, which detects heat variations, helps researchers identify anomalies within the pyramids. Different materials absorb and release heat differently, so variations can indicate hidden spaces or passages. In 2015, the Scan Pyramids project used thermal scanning on the Great Pyramid of Giza and found a significant temperature difference in one area, suggesting an unexplored space. Combining thermal imaging with muon tomography, a technique that uses cosmic rays to create detailed scans, researchers in 2023 pinpointed a 30-meter corridor behind the pyramid's main entrance, marking a major discovery in pyramid exploration.